and welcome to part 4 of getting started with data objects in Flowable. If you've been watching part 1, 2, and 3, you'll know that we've been building a Flowable application that contains a patient data object and a CMN case model, which we use to manage this data object patient data. In the last movie, we've also created a consultation data object that we basically used to show how you can link data objects together. In this movie, I'm going to show you how you can create a master detail view, which is quite common in UIs to show patient data on the left-hand side. When you click a patient, it's going to show the relevant consultations for that patient on the right-hand side. All right, let's get going. So let's first create a new page. Here we go. Let's call this one Patients Overview page. Here we go. We need two tables, two data object tables. On the left-hand side, we're going to have patients. And on the right-hand side, we're going to have the consultations for that patient. We're going to link it like we did before with the patient and with the find all. Here we go. And we're going to show a few columns like first name, last name, and the age. Here we go. Now there's a bit of a problem here. We could now do a binding to the consultations and actually use a new operation to find the consultations by the patient ID. But there is another way that I want to showcase to you today, is basically when you go into, let's go here and find data object. That's when you go into the patient, we can actually now add that we have consultations. There we go. And this is a data object. And from the point of view of the patient, you're going to have one-to-many, which means multiple consultations. We're going to save this. Here we go, and we're going to go into the data source because it says, it also says that stuff has been updated. This is fine. We already have our join table from the other side. And what we want to do now is we basically want to fetch these things eagerly. You can see it's automatically being fetched, right? If we would uncheck this, it wouldn't happen, but this is automatically checked. So all is good. When we have a find all operation, which we already had, it will actually now return and fetch eagerly the consultations. So let's go back to our overview. And one thing we need to do now is we want to click on this table. So what we want to do is we want to say it's selectable. Just put it to single here. We just want to select one patient here. And what I also want to do is I want to now change the value. And basically when I select this, I'm going to say this is the selected patients. I'm going to copy paste this because I want to bind this later on. In the consultations, I'm just going to bind this now to the consultation data object, but instead of an operation, I'm going to use the expression. Why? Because at this point, by fetching the things eagerly, I actually already have the consultations. So if I do selected patient, that's why I copy paste it and say consultations, I can now save one round trip to the database, to the REST call to the database that I don't need to do. So here we go. Let's add a few columns. Let's say the timestamp and the summary, all good. Here we go. Let's publish this to work. And let's see if this actually did something. All right, if I now go into my demo here, there's now a patient's overview. There's two tables, and if I select, for example, Bruce Wayne here, you can see automatically I get my consultations, which is neat. So this works, got a master detail view working. Okay, let's make things a bit more interesting. Let's, for example, add a simple search here on the top of the page. Let's call this one filter. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to filter based on the last name of the patient, right? I didn't have that yet. So let's go to the patient data source, add a new operation, find by last name. It's a search operation. I'm going to have, I'm just going to call this one input. There we go. It's a string. And what I want to do is I want to say the last name of the patient needs to like ignore case, the input that we're passing here. And again, sorting them on last name is going to be easy. All right, we've got our operation. Let's now go to our overview and change now the operation that we've created. We now see it's instead of one and not editable, I can actually now say find last name. And again, we're in the front-end land, so I need to bind this one to my filter. So whatever I type in the filter here is going to be used to find the patients. Let's save it, publish it. Here we go. Let's refresh. And there should be a filter here. Here we go. So if I now type, for example, Wayne, it doesn't work. And let me check why. Let me quickly see. I've binded to filter. I binded to find by last name. And I have it here. Inputs, input. Okay. I forgot to press save here. Basically, let me do that again. So here I'm saying last name, like equals ignore case input. Press the OK because that's what I want. Here we go. Save it. Update. Here we go. Publish. Restore. And if I now type Wayne, you see it actually filters down rookie mistake and it still works. All right. That was cool. Let's make it a bit more interesting. Let's now assume that I'm going to use this filter field to filter on diseases and that the doctor always put the disease into the summary just for the sake of this demo. Okay, so what I need now is I want to find my patients by the summary, right? By the disease that's in the summary. So let's say find by consultation summary and add a parameter here, which is, I'm just going to call it input for the lack of a better name. Here we go. And add a definition here, consultation summary, again, let's say like ignore case, input, and don't forget to press the OK now. And here we go, sort again on last name ascending. Here we go, this would be fine. Let's say change this now to the new operation. Here we go, you can just remain it on filter. And let's see if this works. And I know from the data that I have in my system that when I search, for example, here now for broken, there should be 2 people with a broken foot and Bruce Wayne with broken knee. Now, there's one annoying thing here is also the headache is coming back in my results. And I don't really like that. When I type broken here, I actually just want to see those consultations that had broken. So let's go back and fix that. So what I need now is for the consultation, I need a new operation, which is pretty much doing the same thing as the one for patients, but now from the consultation side. So find by summary, let's make a typo. Let's call this one summary input. Here we go. Fill the definition, and now we can say the summary, like ignore case to summary inputs. Press OK. Let's sort this one by descending, so latest one first, and there we go. But I forgot something. This actually is not going to work because this is now going to return all my consultations, consultations in my system, not just the one from the one that I selected, right? So actually, I need another parameter here, which is the patient ID, to really link it to the one that I'm selecting and add a new thing here and say the patient ID needs to be equals to that patient ID input. Here we go. So both the summary, there's an and here, I could do an or here and build a quite complex nested query even, but now it says both the summary needs to match what I have here and the patient ID needs to match. Okay, let's see what that does. Now, the only thing I need to do is link this to the right operation. I'm not using an expression anymore. I'm using a real operation. Find the consultations by summary. I want to have the input. I'm going to bind this one to the filter, and I need the patient ID. And this was the selected patient, the one I select on the left-hand side, .id. All right, let's see if this works. Publish it to work, do a quick refresh. And if I now type broken, filters down on Bruce Wayne, I select it here, and you can see my headache is gone. It now filtered, only giving me the consultations with the broken element. All right. That was all I wanted to show you in the Getting Started with Data Objects in Flowable. I hope you enjoyed it. I think we built a nice little application showcasing many things of the data objects of CMMN case model integrating with data objects. BPMN, same story. Everything I showed you also works in BPMN. So stay tuned for more videos on Flowable and have a good day.